And joining me now to take this up and more, of course, Florida Congressman and member of the House Judiciary Committee, Greg Steube. Congressman, great to see you. We're looking at that tape there. We're thinking about the possibility, at least we're hearing from sources, of a special counsel to investigate Hunter Biden. Your thoughts on where this could go? Because when it came to President Trump, no stone was left unturned here.
Well, it just blows my mind that we're again blaming Russia for something. For 3 years, they perpetrated a fraud against the American people that the Trump campaign colluded and conspired with Russia. We had a special counsel, 18 lawyers. They spent 18 months investigating it, and now they don't want to appoint a special counsel when we have evidence and facts in front of the American people that obviously there was some criminal activity that was going on. The advantage of having a special counsel is that if a Biden administration comes in and there's an investigation ongoing, they can't just do away with the special counsel without taking these substantial steps. So there's great advantage to have a special counsel investigating Hunter Biden because it gives distance from the administration.
Congressman, if they don't do it, it's setting a precedent that, it's just okay to have double standards.
It's absolutely a double standard. And what you're going to see is this story is going to get buried. And we know that is going to happen because Twitter wouldn't even allow the story to come out before the election. Bill Barr, to my disappointment, wouldn't even talk about the fact that they were investigating Hunter Biden for some of these things prior to the election. So, if the Biden administration comes in and there's not a special counsel, the mainstream media is not going to talk about it. Social media is not even going to allow for news articles to be published about it. And it'll just slowly disappear from the American populist information sphere, and like it never happened before.
Joe, I want to give you a chance to get in on this as well.
Yeah, thank you, Jackie. It is amazing, right, that the president-elect said that Russian disinformation is the cause right now for the Hunter Biden investigation that's being carried out by the United States Federal Bureau of Investigations. And no one in our media, to your point, is talking about that. When Joe Biden made that statement that, yes, he stands by that it's Russian disinformation that's investigating his son, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, all didn't report this. I thought we learned from what happened in October in terms of dismissing genuine, authentic, real news stories. But instead, it seems that moving forward, that to your point, this is going to get buried because we have a media that suddenly has lost its curiosity gene when it comes to this administration.
Congressman?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think it's going to get buried, and we need to appoint a special counsel to ensure that it's not going to go and not be prosecuted. It's not Russian disinformation when the information's actually on Hunter Biden's laptop. It's not Russian disinformation when you have Bob Alinsky, who was a business partner with the Bidens, testifying and talking to the FBI about these business dealings. That's not Russian disinformation. That's called evidence in a criminal case against Hunter Biden.
Yeah, I want to switch gears for a moment because President Trump also vetoed the $740 billion defense spending bill, Congressman, largely because it didn't repeal Section 230, a provision providing immunity for social media companies. Congress is going to vote on overriding it on Monday. You introduced legislation limiting that provision back in October. What can you tell us?
We absolutely need to do away with the liability protections that these big tech companies have in Section 230. I have a bill that would narrowly tailor and go into them based on a market test, how big they are in the market, and then would provide a private right of cause of action if they violate the First Amendment or censor conservatives or anyone for that matter censoring their First Amendment speech. I'll be curious to see what the votes are. I certainly support the president. We have three branches of government. If the president's saying he wants Section 230 reforms in the Defense Department Act, then Congress needs to do that. He's the third. He gets to sign that bill. And if he wants something specific in there, he has the full authority under our government system to ask for that. So I support the president. I support the reforms to Section 230. These big tech companies should not be able to censor conservatives or anybody and violate their First Amendment right to free speech.
Scott?
Congressman, with the latest tussle over the bill, given that we're coming up to the 11th hour with getting maybe a government shutdown again, how do you think this affects the runoff elections in Georgia, if at all?
I think people know that the president 100% supports our military. I think a lot of people and Americans want reform to these social media companies. So I think a lot of the majority of Americans support the president and know that this is the only way that he's going to be able to have true reforms. If, in fact, he's out of office at the end of January, obviously, you're again going to see Section 230 reforms disappear because the Democrats all of a sudden don't want to do that because they're censoring conservatives, not Democrats. So I think it's his only opportunity to kind of leverage his position as president to ensure that these reforms get done in the defense authorization bill.
Congressman, great to see you this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.